The Quran describes how the universe began and how it evolved. And when we read those descriptions today, it looks like they were made in full knowledge of scientific discoveries that are only a couple of days old. It looks like the one who described the universe in this way knew what we have only recently discovered.
This is God's cosmos.
But if that's true, then wouldn't Muslims have been teaching and explaining these scientific facts for the past 1400 years?
Only if the Quran was written like a scientific textbook. But it's not. That's not the point of the Quran. If it was, then nobody would be able to understand it. Imagine a Bedouin poring over mathematical equations, scratching his head, revelation from God. It would lose its whole point. That's not the point of the Quran. The point of the Quran is to describe God's power and knowledge. And it does that in a miraculously eloquent way, so that a Bedouin who lived at the time when the Quran was revealed can understand something from it and be moved by it. But what's really amazing is that it does it in a language that if an astrophysicist or a cosmologist living today were to read it, he will also be amazed by it, because he will understand something from that today in light of his own knowledge that before was not understood, and he'd be able to see that this was really intended.
Could you give us an example?
Yes. Let's take this verse from Surah Al-Waqi'ah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِمَوَاقِعِ النُّجُومِ وَإِنَّهُ لَقَسَمٌ لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عَظِيمٌ إِنَّهُ لَقُرْآنٌ كَرِيمٌ. This is an amazing verse. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing an oath that the Quran is something tremendous. إِنَّهُ لَقُرْآنٌ كَرِيمٌ. He's swearing an oath. In order to understand why this verse is so amazing, you have to understand what an oath is and why it's sworn and what it means. Let's say I'm saying something to you and you don't believe that I'm telling the truth. And I say to you, Muhammad, I swear by this tiny piece of paper that what I'm saying is true. I'm not emphasizing that I'm telling the truth. It's like I'm mocking you. It's like I'm telling a lie. In order for the oath to be effective, I have to swear by something that's tremendous. I have to say, Muhammad, I swear by the majesty of God that what I'm saying is true. Now, it has its effect. So in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing an oath that the Quran is tremendous. So in order for the oath to be effective, the thing that he is swearing by needs to be tremendous. What is he swearing by? He is swearing by the mawaqi' of the stars.
Can you tell us what the mawaqi' of the stars means?
I will in a second, but first, I want you to see how tremendous the Quran is saying they are. So the Quran is swearing by them. That means they're tremendous. It says, I swear by the mawaqi' of the stars. And then it says, and surely, innahu laqasamun azim. And surely, this is a huge oath. If only you knew how huge and tremendous it is, I swear by these stars that the Quran is really tremendous. This translation doesn't do justice to the miraculously eloquent language of the Quran, but there's a point that I'm trying to get across. And that point is that the Quran is saying that these mawaqi' are really tremendous, but you, O ancient Arabian, don't understand how tremendous they are.
So the Quran is actually telling the ancient Arabs that they won't understand how amazing the mawaqi' are?
Yes. Yes, it's saying you won't understand. You don't understand. You can't understand how tremendous they are. Now, enter a modern astrophysicist, a modern cosmologist who also understands the ancient Arabic language. He's going to come here and he's going to look at the word mawaqi', and he will see that the word mawaqi' means positions. Positions that are really high on top of mountains. They're used in the ancient Arabic language for the mountaintops where high flying birds like eagles might perch. It has the meaning of coming to that high position through falling, because the word mawaqi' is related to the verb waqa'a, which means to fall. So it's a really, really high position at which you arrive by falling. This astronomer will understand why the Quran is swearing by the positions of the stars and not by the stars themselves. The closest star to our galaxy is called Alpha Centauri. Alpha Centauri is 4.37 light years away. That means that it's so far away that it takes light 4.37 years to reach us. So the light that just reached my eye when I'm looking at this star, it's from 4.37 years ago. So I'm looking not at the star itself, I'm looking at where it was 4.37 years ago. Other stars are thousands of light years away. So when I look at them, I'm looking at them where they were at their positions thousands of light years away. They might not even exist. They might have ceased to exist. So the Quran is swearing not by the stars themselves, but by the positions of the stars. This is why.
SubhanAllah.
There's more. The astronomer will also see that these stars are falling. These stars are being pulled by the forces of gravity around them, another star or a supermassive black hole, into what astronomers call free fall. So not only are the stars in certain positions that are very far away, but they're actually falling into those positions. This verse hits the mark perfectly.
That's amazing. We're looking at the really far away positions that the stars fell into thousands of years ago. And it's actually amazing how the Quran says that this will not be understood by the people who it was speaking to at that time.
Yeah, it says that this is such a tremendous oath. These positions are so tremendous. Why are they so tremendous? Because they're so far away. These distances we couldn't have imagined before. And you don't understand. And there's an allusion to that in the meaning of falling and the positions. And there's other places where the Quran says that these things will be discovered in the future. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقِّ. Which means that we will show them our signs on the horizons and in themselves. The signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the horizons are the signs that we're talking about right now. The stars, the things that are that He's created in the heavens. The signs in themselves are things to do with embryology, for example. That's another area where the Quran has described things that were unknown, could not have been known such a long time ago. But these signs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He says that we'll show them to them. And He tells us why. He says, so that it becomes clear to them, or until it becomes clear to them that it, i.e. the Quran, is the truth. So that it becomes clear to them, in other words, that this Quran is really from the one who created the universe.
So Muslims have always understood that the Quran says things that will only fully be comprehended and explained in the future.
Absolutely. Especially when the Quran talks about things in the physical universe. Muslims believe that the Quran is from God, the creator of the universe. So that means that if He talks about something in the universe, He's going to talk about it as it really is. You would expect that as a Muslim. but he's going to do it in a language that someone could also understand, something that's meaningful to them 1400 years ago. What this means is that as our knowledge and understanding of the physical universe increase, our knowledge and understanding of this verse and verses like that will also increase.
So this verse is also telling us that those future understandings will be evidence that the Quran is true. Is that what we now call the scientific miracle of the Quran?
Yes, but that miracle doesn't appear in a single verse on its own. It actually appears when you look at all of the verses together. It's a collective inference from many different verses that talk about the universe. And when you see again and again that there's this correspondence between the way that they're describing things and the way that things really are in a way that couldn't have been known before, then this is the scientific miracle of the Quran. But you need to see other verses. Let me show you another verse in the next episode.
If you like this episode, then check out my Why Islam is True course, in which I teach you 4 rational arguments that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ himself used to show that Islam is true. Learning on YouTube is great, but if you want to reach a learning goal, a learning destination, like how to make rational arguments, how to think critically as a Muslim, how to engage with modern science as a Muslim, then you need to follow a map that's been specifically designed to take you to your learning goal, step by step, through a series of carefully designed learning objectives and learning activities that take you to your final learning destination. That's how this course has been designed. This course shows you the what, the why, and the how. It shows you what we believe as Muslims. It shows you why those beliefs are based on evidence and 100% true based on Quranic rational arguments. And it shows you how to use those arguments to address common objections against Islam by atheists and others on topics such as evolution, the problem of evil, the age of Aisha, and much more. It consists of 20 modules, and it includes bi-weekly live sessions with me, pre-recorded lessons with 81 bite-sized videos, 247 application activities and real-world scenarios, a 24/7 community where you can ask a question and get it answered within 24 hours, and there's an option to buy a course textbook as well. Find out more at www.whyislamis.true/course and learn why Islamic seminaries are adopting this course as part of their curriculum to train the next generations of scholars. This course is actually the first and prerequisite course in the Basira classical curriculum in modern context, a 4-year curriculum consisting of 31 courses that will teach you everything that a Muslim needs to know about their deen and be ready for modern society. This 4-year Basira seminary curriculum is based entirely on the Muslim scholarly tradition, but it teaches you how to apply that tradition to the world in which we live, and it's taught completely in English. Why Islam is True is the first course in that 31 course curriculum. Check it out at www.whyislamistrue.com/course.